All right, so Robotic Inventions, uh, Boston Dynamics Spot Robot. So this is a video by The Verge, I believe. Yep. And this should introduce Spot for us.
Hi, I'm Russell, and this is Spot. So you've probably seen this robot before, maybe hauling a truck or dancing to Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk. It's the first of this generation of semi-autonomous four-legged robots, and it does a lot more than just make videos for the internet. For about a month now, Boston Dynamics has been putting Spot to work, leasing units out to industry partners, and seeing how this kind of robot holds up in the real world. When you're standing next to Spot, the striking thing is how small and sturdy it is. It's just under 3 feet high and weighs 70 pounds, which means it's light enough for a single person to pick up. A lot of the movements you're seeing here are remote controlled by an operator, but Spot has a handful of basic skills it can do automatically. It knows how to climb stairs, how to avoid walls, and even knows how to dance a little.
Get it right?
Spot's not tired at all. Of course, we've seen walking robots before, but few of them had Spot's sense of balance. Accelerometers tell Spot if it's moving, and torque sensors in the joints tell it exactly how its weight is distributed. If Spot feels itself tipping forward, a protocol kicks in, telling it to find surer footing. It also has cameras on all four sides, so it can see where to plant its foot. Spot still can't tell the difference between firm ground and loose dirt, which means navigating these dirt piles got a little chaotic. When it does fall, there's a protocol for righting itself, which works most of the time, although it did need human assistance when we flipped it into the bottom of a particularly steep ditch. The simplest way to use Spot is this controller, which uses the same layout as an Xbox. The left joystick moves Spot forward and back, or strafes left and right, while the right joystick spins it around. You can also use the camera view to see what Spot is seeing, and send it to specific waypoints. Tap a spot on the screen, and Spot will find a way to get there. The controls are really easy to learn, mostly because there isn't that much to control, so much of it's automatic. Within a couple of minutes, I was able to send Spot wherever I wanted, although it does stop at walls because of the object sensor. At the same time, I didn't get the tight connection that you do with video games or RC cars. You can tell it's more designed for automation than human pilots. Boston Dynamics is hoping that a lot of the time, Spot won't need a driver at all. For more complicated tasks, you can chain waypoints together, sending Spot to retrace a path it walked through earlier with human assistance. That could mean checking all the gauges on an oil rig or taking LiDAR scans of a room from a dozen specific points. This version of Spot mostly knows how to navigate spaces, but the plan is for it to carry more sophisticated tools on its back, like a zoomable camera or the claw it uses to open doors. Industry partners can also build their own modules for more specialized jobs. Attach a methane detector module and Spot could check a whole facility for gas leaks. Attach a LiDAR rig and Spot could make a 3D map of a whole building from the inside. It's a completely new way for computer programs to interact with the physical world, automating tasks that would otherwise be impossible to do without a human being. There's also just straight up entertainment. It's really fun to watch this kind of robot do these precise movements, particularly if you have 10 or 15 of them in unison. It's not hard to imagine 50 Spots dancing Pikachu style in a theme park. Right now, Boston Dynamics has about 60 beta units. That's the yellow guy you're seeing here, but they've already started building the next generation, which is what they're loaning out. Eventually, they're hoping to have 1,000 of them, but right now there's only about 20 being leased out. Now, Boston Dynamics wouldn't say exactly what those bots are doing, since most of the partnerships are still confidential. They also didn't tell us exactly how much the robots cost, since technically Spot isn't for sale. All they told us is that the leases were in the range of what you pay to lease a car, which doesn't say much. One thing we have to talk about, and there's really no other word for it, is the creepiness. Some people get really freaked out by Spot. It moves with a precision that we don't see in the natural world, and it stops dead still whenever it doesn't have a task, which can be unsettling. When you watch these videos, there are all sorts of comments about how these robots are going to rise up and destroy humanity. There was even a Black Mirror episode about it. But I didn't get that sense in person. Really, Spot doesn't recognize people at all. For the robot, you're just an obstacle that's too big to step on. At the same time, Boston Dynamics is really concerned about any situation where Spot might end up harming a person, even if it's just getting your hand pinched by one of the joints. They also said that they didn't want to sell to any clients who would use Spot to harm people or build weapons modules or anything like that, which was good to hear. Spot's great at climbing through piles of dirt, but it doesn't have the social skills to navigate big crowds, and Boston Dynamics has a lot of work to do before it can build those skills. But that does mean that for now, you're probably not going to see Spot anywhere with lots of people around. The company's thinking about construction sites, oil rigs, maybe a few movie sets, but those are all pretty tightly controlled spaces. For now, Spot's really just a platform, a stable base where partners can build new modules and new software skills. Once people start building on that platform, Spot's going to get smarter fast. And we may start seeing robots in places we never expected.
All right. So, introducing Spot, quoting from the Boston Dynamics website, uh, they refer to it as a nimble robot that climbs stairs and is able to traverse rough terrain with unprecedented ease, yet is still small enough to use indoors. Built to be rugged and a customizable platform, Spot has an industry track record in remote operation and autonomous sensing. So some of the key features of Spot is a 360-degree vision and built-in obstacle avoidance capabilities. It can be driven both remotely or through learned routes and actions to perform autonomous missions. So, like in the video, it seems to be geared more towards learned routes than being remote controlled. Developers are able to create custom control methods and program autonomous missions, design payloads to carry it on its back, and expand the robot's capabilities. And sensor information can be integrated into data analysis tools, so they can use them for like collecting data in like a building just by putting on a route, walking around. It has mounting rails, payload ports, and its own SDK that allows for customization of the robot for almost any application.
Good. So the design of Spot. So Spot's SDK is actually available on GitHub. So anyone or any organization wants to purchase or should I say lease a Spot or use it according to their own needs, can customize the SDK if they're skilled enough. Um, Mobility wise, it has four legs. The speed of a Spot is usually around 1.6 meters per second, and the legs can climb or go down a slope of positive or negative 30 degrees. The leg have a step height of 30 centimeters, and it has automatic weight slash terrain adaptation. That means you put a payload on top of it, it will know how to um, adapt to the newly added weight to keep itself stable. Perception wise, it has a 3D point clouds, which means that you process surrounding with 3D points in order to figure out which way to go to avoid obstacles. Field of vision has 360 degrees, and it streams using a monochrome. But the battery is swappable. It also has automatic obstacle avoidance, like we talked about. It's all built in, so all you have to do on your controller or the iPad is tap somewhere, and it will know how to get there without hitting anything. So the ability to record and automatically replay tasks, so you can show the robot what to do once, and you will be able to perform that cycle over and over again. Customizability has various payloads, and the payload capacity is 14 kg, and it uses a DB25 connector. And all the payloads, they help with some sort of ability, so such as there's a camera add-on in which increase the range to 100 meter from 4 meters, and it will help plotting points a lot easier. So usage. The integration with software and sensor allows the robot to perform tasks in a variety of industries, which includes construction. For construction, it can help with site documentation because it walks around everywhere, and it can also create a digital 3D twin, as shown on the right middle picture. Um, it helps with construction planning and sort of things. Oil and gas. With the correct add-on, you can the spot can sense liquid and gas leaks. It can also sense anomaly noises. Mining, it can inspect tunnel stability. So as Spot walks through the area, you can check for cracks in the walls, uh, rotten wood or rotten supports, things like that. Electrical utility, Spots have another add-on which you can put on the top. It senses the thermal temperatures. So it's like a heat camera. It checks where it's getting too hot or the temperature is just not right. Public safety. So, uh, of course, as a robot, it can travel to more dangerous areas where humans doesn't necessarily want to be at. So it can detect radiation with the correct add-on. It can also search and alert, which means that it look for dangerous objects and alert people, such as a bomb in a building.
All right, so how Spot came to fruition. So various predecessors to Spot, such as Big Dog, which is this guy here, Alpha Dog Proto, and the legged squad support system, the LS3, which is this big thing here, were originally developed with funding from DARPA, which some of you may know as the Research and Development Agency of the Department of Defense, uh, and also funding from the U.S. Marine Corps. Big Dog was originally designed to be a pack mule for soldiers carrying extra like heavy equipment and that kind of thing. Um, the problem with Big Dog is they're very noisy, and Alpha Dog Proto was one of the main things it fixed was the noise complaint that the Marine Corps had. The direct predecessor to Spot, Spot was actually originally referred to as the Spot Mini. There was a larger version of Spot, now known as Spot Classic, and it was still significantly smaller than the models made for the military, not as small as Spot Mini. This is Spot Classic here, by the way. It's just it's the same design goals as the Spot Mini. Essentially, it was designed for both indoor and outdoor activities, as well as rough terrain navigation and obstacle avoidance, much like the Spot Mini, now known simply as just the Spot. Um, so yeah, just like a larger version of the Spot. So other information and facts, as mentioned in the video we showed earlier, Spot is not being developed for military use, unlike the previous models, and it's not being distributed to any entities or organizations that intend to use the robot to harm people, such as through the development of weapon modules. Boston Dynamics has expressed an interest in finding an application for Spot in the entertainment industry, in which it could serve as a performer. So I believe they've even uploaded videos to YouTube of Spot just like dancing to music and stuff like that. So they see potential for it being used in maybe like amusement parks or in like a show on stage somewhere. They're work cited. So that's Spot.
That's it. All right.
That's
Thanks
it.
for listening.